Ladies and gentlemen, to those among you who are easily frightened, we suggest you turn away now. To those of you who think they can take it, we say, welcome to the madhouse.
Welcome to the Madhouse. We are your protagonists. My name is Jimmy, and that's Joey.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's all good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Good. I liked this film. It was a good choice.
Yes, it is a cracking good film. Obviously starring our Lord and Saviour,
Vincent Price.
Yep, there you go. Beautiful.
We should have a sound effect for every time Vincent Price is mentioned.
Yes.
It's a job for me for the weekend. So, it's a film released in 1971, directed by Robert Fust.
Yes.
And it's a good film.
Yeah, it's a great film.
Made £1.5 million at the box office.
Did it?
Which was good.
Yeah, that's good for
apparently.
old money, isn't it?
Yeah, it was 1.5 million sovereigns.
Sovereigns?
Is that right?
I don't know.
Old money.
Old money.
Anyway, it doesn't sound that much these days. I checked. It was a hit.
Definitely a hit. And it spawned a sequel that came out a year later. Dr. Phibes Rises Again.
Yes.
There was also going to be another one that never made it. I think it was going to be called Brides of Phibes.
Okay.
Brides of Phibes.
Going along the familiar theme of adding a bride.
Yeah.
In the third film.
Yeah. Why not?
To begin with, the film had the tagline, "Love means never having to say you're ugly." But this was changed after a poor performance at the box office. I don't know what it was changed to, because my DVD has the original tagline on it.
Yes.
But it did perform better after the change. I don't even know if it had another tagline, to be honest, or if they just removed it because I couldn't find one.
Oh, it also got pitched as Vincent's 100th film, but that was bullshit.
Was it?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
I did wonder.
Yeah, it's not actually his 100th film.
Yeah, I couldn't see if it was true or not. And I mean, I know you can get a list of filmography, but then you have to decide what they counted as a short or as a TV straight to thing.
No, but they put that in there just to push it a little bit more.
All right, well,
it was just
welcome to our 100th episode, everybody.
Yes!
We are celebrating by doing Vincent Price's 100th film. But this film did pretty well. Take the tagline away or change it, whatever they did, because the original one didn't really show what type of film it was. There is a weird tagline. Love means never having to say you're ugly.
Yes. We've not even said the name of the film yet, have we?
You say it, I keep tongue twisting myself over it.
So, this week we're reviewing the film The Abominable Dr. Phibes.
And it is pronounced Phibes.
Yeah.
Not
Why?
Phoebes.
What did you think it was?
Phibes is the place.
Phibes.
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 Phobos. Phibes. Anyway, brilliant film.
There's some confusing names in this that we're definitely going to stumble on.
Yes, I tripped over a few that are similar bad choices for names, although there's reasons for choices of some of the names.
Okay.
So, should we do a plot slot?
Yes.
And then maybe take a delve into frights and delights.
Yeah, let me just have a little sip.
You have a sip.
The good stuff this time.
And I'll set a timer.
Not pear this time, which is nice.
I'll give you a countdown this time.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to do it in a scary voice.
No, do it in Michael Caine's voice.
I can't do a Michael Caine's voice, and that's why you've told me to do it.
She was only 16 years old.
That wasn't me, that was Dewey. Alright, this is so bad. Alright, 3, 2, 1.
An organ player dressed entirely in glossy black hood and robes rises upward from the floor at the top of a raised performance area. The song finishes and a wider shot reveals a flight of descending steps with life-size wind-up musicians on either side. The black figure descends the steps, cranks the wind-up musicians into life, which play an amusing little waltz.
A door opens and from a bright room beyond steps forth a young, fashionable woman. The woman in white and the figure in black meet in the room centre over a glass floor. They pass a table in the back, holding nearly a dozen life-size busts in white wax with hanging lights above them.
The woman climbs the stairs to the balcony that surrounds at least one wall of the room, while the figure in black steps to a large suspended bird cage on a gold chain with a black cloth covering it. He lowers the cage through a square hole in the floor where the woman, now below and dressed in a modern Russian garb, she got changed quick, didn't she, buckles the cage on the back of a prestigious car. The figure in black enters the car, rolling up the window with a man's profile painted on the glass. Ridiculous.
The bedroom of a wealthy man, reading in bed. He finishes, turns out the light and turns over for sleep. When I say he finishes...
Well, what's he reading? Copy of Razzle?
Saucy book. Outside, the elegant car quietly comes to a stop. As the man sleeps, the skylight opens, the bird cage is lowered, and the black cover is hoisted up, soon followed by the cage itself, showing a bottom trapdoor swinging open. The skylight is closed.
The man awakens, hearing the disturbing sounds about his room. He looks round. Shadows flutter past. Suddenly, there are bats on his bed, climbing towards his face, screeching.
The car returns. At the mansion, the clockwork musicians kick into gear. The man in black switches off his musicians and sits at the organ while the young woman appears on the balcony. As the man plays on the organ, he and it sink back into the floor.
Well, his hands actually don't match what he's playing on the organ. If
Not
I'm
even
be
close.
A little bit picky
But
about
he's
it.
being really good, dramatic, flinging them up in the air like he's doing like some crazy surgery. So I think that was a bit of imagery for us there. The crazy doctor.
Yeah. Back in the dead man's bedroom, Sergeant Tom Shenley. Is that how you pronounce it? Fuck it. Schnenley. Is that how are you saying it?
You're putting an extra N in there. You're saying Schnenley. I think it's Shenley.
Shenley recalls a similar weird death involving another surgeon stung by bees in his library. His face a mass of boils.
At the mansion, 2 prosthetic ears and a nose sit on a dressing table. The formerly dark figure, now dressed in white, takes the nose, then the ears, then a light brown wig. The composed face of Dr. Anton Phibes is now seen.
Camera focuses closely on another pendant worn by Phibes, zooming out to see him in a tux and handing an elegant frog's head mask to Dr. Hargreaves, who didn't know the party was a masked affair. Foolish.
I think that was purposeful, by the way.
Was it?
Yeah, he wasn't told in his invite, I'm guessing, that it was a masked affair, so he turned up with no mask and had to borrow one.
So Phibes could get
Boom.
the frog head on
It's
it.
not just a manky face.
True, and I like that Phibes is dressed as a bird of prey, because he's preying on Dr. Hargreaves.
Sorry,
Pops it on his head. That's fine. He popped it on his head. Asks Phibes for help donning the mask with its fancy catch. Phibes obliges, who sets the mask ever-tightening catch in motion. Darktown Strutter's Ball plays as the frog mask strangles the screaming doctor, who collapses and falls down a flight of stairs, blood squirting from the mouth of the frog mask.
Phibes hangs his pendant over the next waxed bust and blowtorches the face of Dr. Hargreaves. At the police station, Chief Inspector Crow dismisses Trout's request for additional men to investigate the growing string of exotic doctor murders.
At the home of Dr. Longstreet, the doctor cuts a film reel from its wrapping. Miss Frawley, a housekeeper or companion of sorts, I think it's a housekeeper, startles him by announcing her departure for an evening off, for which the doctor seems most eager because he's about to watch a bluey.
Yeah.
Phibes.
Sorry, there's a few hints that they're ding on the side.
Are they really?
Yeah, one man even mentioned it at some point. I can't remember who it was.
Just got to point out Dr. Longstreet, played by the excellent Terry Thomas.
Yes.
Who dies in this film.
Yeah.
In a minute.
Yeah.
But then he is also in the second film.
Is he?
Yes.
Is he reincarnated? Or another person?
No, he's another person.
Alright.
Phibes' car, with painted images of Phibes on the window, pulls up. Now, this is also an annoyance to me, that he has his face painted on the side of a car. He's supposed to be pretending he's dead.
Yes.
Foolish.
Dr. Longstreet runs his black and white film reel, gulping wine as he lusts over the image of a snake dancer. Mrs. Frawley's feet appearing below the screen interrupts his private enjoyment. She calls him naughty for not touching his supper yet, asking about the screen blocking the doorway. Longstreet awkwardly explains it's a modern invention to block drafts. She leaves, dubious of his explanation.
Back in Longstreet's study, the film reel leaves the spokes of the projector and its power cuts off. It starts up again to reveal Phibes' fashionable assistant dressed in white. Longstreet is absolutely transfixed. She stops him absent-mindedly cracking a lever in midair and seductively pushes him backwards into a chair, tying his wrists to it. Once secured, Phibes switches on the room light and enters. The woman inserts a tube into a rubber-capped beaker as Phibes surgically cuts open Longstreet's sleeve before jabbing a needle into his arm. Longstreet struggles helplessly, managing only to tear the pendant from Phibes' neck.
At police headquarters, Shenley has successfully squashed interest of the press thus far and has run out of time. And has also turned up... Hang on. He has also turned up the fact that all three deceased doctors have worked with Dr. Vesalius.
Trout and Shenley visit the home of Dr. Vesalius, led in by the doctor's teenage son. The boy is impressed that Detective Inspector Trout comes from Scotland Yard, but not the father, who busies himself with a model train set. Vesalius isn't fussed about the details of the three doctors until Trout lists off their names, all close friends of his.
Back in Longstreet's study, Phibes withdraws Longstreet's blood as the sun rises and the woman plays Close Your Eyes on her white violin. Phibes draws out every last drop. He packs up, leaving 8 jars of Longstreet's bottled blood on the mantelpiece.
Vesalius finds the death of his colleagues hard to believe. The phone rings for Trout, informing him of Longstreet's death, making it Vesalius' 4th colleague to have been murdered in an exotic manner. Back at the mansion and ready to burn another wax face, Phibes realises his pendant is missing. Trout and Shenley look at Longstreet, drained dry as a bone.
Visiting the goldsmith who made the pendant, Trout learns it's a part of a set of 10, each unique and ordered by a lady who didn't talk much and paid in cash. Tall, attractive, young and fashionable. As Inspector Trout leaves, the goldsmith hastens him back to add that the pendant symbols are Hebrew.
Visiting a rabbi, Trout learns the Hebrew symbol is part of a list of 10 curses visited upon the pharaohs of ancient Egypt, starting with boils, bats, frogs and blood. The list continues with rats, hail, beasts, locusts, deaths of the firstborn and finally darkness.
Phibes attaches a cable from a gold phonograph audio horn into the left side of his neck, as you do. Yep. He then speaks to an enlarged photograph of a young woman with his mouth never moving as he sits before her shrine expressing his love.
That's the first time we hear Phibes talking as well.
Yep.
I think. Having gone over his medical history, Vesalius presents Trout his findings. He served 1,200 medical cases, discounting cases over 5 years old. 36 cases involved any two of the 4 slain doctors, and a scant dozen where there were 3 were involved, but one involving all 4. Trout reads the file. Victoria Regina Phibes, whom the doctors were too late to help.
Phibes tells the photograph that 9 killed her, 9 shall die.
Very good.
Thank you. Trout continues going over the case file. Victoria died and her husband Anton died in a fiery car crash, incinerated while racing back to be at her side, but now interred in the family vault.
On a back road bordered by a calm river, the door to Phibes' car opens. The fashionable woman. Why do they keep describing her as the fashionable woman?
She's a woman. She's dressed fashionably.
Beautiful. Dressed in black with a black fur hat. Walks a greyhound. As the only time we see the greyhound as well. As a car approaches, the dog disappears and the woman peers into her car's engine. The man in the car, a gentleman, instructs his chauffeur to help the lady out. As the chauffeur greets the lady, Phibes' car door opens unnoticed. Straight away, the chauffeur is rendered unconscious. A touch from side. Phibes. It's the Vulcan death grip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Phibes takes a lightweight machine from his vehicle and the woman steps over the fallen chauffeur.
Hearing Elmer's tune playing outside his car, the slightly feeble gentleman tries looking out his window. The opposite door opens and the woman places the moving music box figurine inside, soon followed by Phibes and his machine.
Over coffee, the police discuss the remaining plagues and their placement of guards around all 5 surviving surgical team members, save Dr. Kitcher.
Okay.
Is that how you say it?
No.
Katja?
Kitaj.
Kataj, who's white.
Don't know what to say.
That's not a name that you'd associate with a young, hip, white person.
I think that's how they spell Smith.
Oh.
Back in the 70s.
The money from Phibes' Switzerland account was transferred to England 2 years ago and withdrawn in cash by a tall, attractive, and fashionable woman who rarely spoke a word.
I wonder who that could be.
That's how I like my women.
The inspectors reach the muddy back road where Dr. Hedgepath's car and unconscious chauffeur have been found. With difficulty, Trout opens the car door, frozen solid. Likewise, Dr. Hedgepath inside. He's frozen solid too. It's the curse of Hale.
That's probably the first time in a long time that he's been solid.
In the back of a car.
In the back of a car.
The constable points out the lightweight machine connected to the car's running engine to deliver 100% blast of Arctic hail.
Back at the wax busts, Phibes torches the likeness of Dr. Hedgepath with its wax dripping on the pendant. At home, Dr. Vesalius plays chess with his son, but his troubled mind is elsewhere, and he sends his son to bed. His son hopes to share a super music piece he's come across through old Darrow at the music shop, who remembers all the great organists. Now Dad's interest is up, and he picks up the music score his son leaves behind.
At the music shop, Vesalius picks through the old posters to find one on Phibes, dated 1904, and tries to engage Mr. Darrow in a conversation about him. Back home with Trout, Vesalius shares his experience of meeting Darrow, who can hardly see and seemed to insist that Phibes was still his patron. Trout now wants to visit the Phibes mausoleum.
Trout and Vesalius enter a graveyard while Trout reveals that Phibes had degrees in music and theology. Vesalius says it neatly explains Phibes' knowledge of the Egyptian plagues, which Trout hadn't yet connected, the douchebag.
The graveyard attendant opens the Phibes mausoleum for Trout and Vesalius. Vesalius asks if anyone ever visits the place. The attendant says no, but Trout spots a bouquet of roses on Victoria's burial vault. The attendant swiftly but quietly slips away. Removing the vault and coffin lids reveals a small wooden box housing Anton Phibes' ashes. Dissatisfied, Trout speculates that the ashes of the incinerated car crash could be anybody. Phibes may have survived and returned to London, which could explain old Darrow thinking Phibes was still around.
Dr. Kataj drives up across open ground to the hangar of the London Aeroplane Club. Kataj's plane readies for takeoff. Shenley arrives just as the plane heads downfield. He's racing to catch up, but the plane achieves liftoff.
With the plane well aloft, rats break out, targeting Dr. Kataj. Both Shenley and Phibes watch as the plane goes out of control and crashes.
At a men's club where Trout and Schnenley escort Dr. Whitcomb out. As Schnenley takes Whitcomb's leather duffel bag, he and Trout open the double doors, whereby a whooshing sound heralds the head of a brass unicorn, piercing Whitcomb's torso and nailing into a thick freestanding wooden wall, instantly killing him.
I just want to say, this is taking us forever.
Right, let's skip to the end.
Do the deaths. What deaths have we got left?
Brussels sprout.
How does that happen?
So, Phibes is cooking a concoction of bizarre Brussels sprouts. He goes to the hospital, he cuts a hole in the floor, he drips his Brussels sprout juice all over Nurse Allen's face, and then inserts some locusts that then feed on the Brussels sprouts and also eat Nurse Allen.
Right, she's dead.
She's dead.
Who's next to die?
Next, Phibes kidnaps the child of Vesalius. He has him strapped to a chair and he's inserted a key into his lungs.
Oh yeah, so
And
Vesalius has to do an operation on
Yes.
him to get the key out to get him off the chair.
Yeah. He's got 6 minutes, which is the exact time as his wife existed on the operating table. And to emphasise the 6 minutes, he has a slow dripping acid tube.
To burn the face off the child.
Yes. Vesalius manages to do it in 6 minutes, just gets the key out, moves his kid, and then Phibes has disappeared down into the basement where his wife is embalmed in a bizarre coffin tomb type thing.
Yeah, when they chase him down there, They don't see him because he's laid down next to his wife,
Yeah.
injected some embalming fluid in one arm,
Yeah.
and something that'll take the blood out the other arm, which would be agony,
Yeah.
and embalms himself alive.
Yes, and that is the last curse of darkness, which is
His own darkness.
yes, which is beautiful because on that like tomb thing, there's the sun and then there's the moon,
Yeah.
and then in front of the moon is the earth, and it's showing the earth dark. Lovely, f me.
And then it ends with Somewhere Over the Rainbow playing.
Lovely.
Comical.
Fucking hell.
That was a long plot slot.
Done.
That was old school. That was like Apostle
Yes, that
detail.
was. Jesus.
I'll cut that down as much as I can.
Move on.
Yeah, to Frights and Delights.
Yeah. Finally, it's the abominable Frights and Delights. We made it. What you got?
Joseph Cotton, who played Dr. Vesalius, apparently felt uncomfortable during some scenes, so Price, being an experienced legend, kept making jokes and funny faces to help him. Price kept cracking into laughter, and ruining his makeup.
Okay, yeah.
That's a nice delight. Little behind the scenes information there.
I think this might be a fright. In the script, Phibes was abusive to Volnavia, who we haven't mentioned is the fashionable young lady.
Yes.
Volnavia. He was eventually going to stab her to death, then escape his house, which catches fire, and he was going to fly off in a hot air balloon with his wife Victoria's body. And then it was decided to make Phibes a more sympathetic character.
Yeah, I think that ending was rewritten by Fuest, if that's how you say it. And one of the writers of The Avengers from 1961, but neither of them were credited for the change. Weird.
Yeah.
The character Vesalius is believed to have been named after a Flemish scientist known for cutting up corpses to learn about the human body, which at the time he was practicing science was looked down upon.
Lovely. Cushing was going to play him,
Yes.
but he was...
He was going to play Phibes, wasn't he?
No, he was going to play Vesalius.
Oh, okay.
But he couldn't do it because his wife was very ill and she died the year it came out, I think.
Oh, shit.
Or whilst it was being filmed.
Sucks.
No words are spoken for 10 minutes in this film, which is mental. Couldn't do it now.
5 minutes of that is the opening of him playing an organ.
Yeah. Not his organ. Playing his organ.
Yeah,
not his organ.
Yeah.
But you couldn't do that nowadays because people don't have the f***ing...
People would leave.
Yeah.
I'm bored.
Because they don't have the... What's it called?
Patience.
Patience.
The Rat Attack.
Rat Attack?
The Rat Attack was written on a boat. Originally, he was going to be attacked on a boat, but this was changed to allow a plane because you could escape a boat by jumping off and the rats wouldn't follow. Also, let's face it, a plane crash is more dramatic.
Absolutely. The bats at the start are not real flesh-eating bats. Would you believe it?
They're not real flesh-eating bats.
No, apparently not.
They're cheated.
They're those ones that like fruit gums.
Okay.
Do you remember the advert for the fruit gums? Fruit gum bat.
Vaguely.
Fruit bat.
Vaguely.
Fruit-loving bat.
I've got one more. And that's it.
Okay.
But I know you've got something lined up, so I don't mind. Volnavia.
Volnavia.
The strange, obedient lady.
Fashionable.
Who
Fashionable, was she?
fashionable,
Was
yeah,
she
and
fashionable?
I hear she might have been tall and quiet as well. She has no reason to be with Phibes, by the way.
Yeah, it's f***ing mental.
Just there, doing what he says.
Absolutely mental.
Originally, she was going to be another clockwork machine.
That would have f***ing explained it a bit more.
Yeah, but they wanted Phibes' assistant to be able to do more movement to help him. And can you imagine having him doing the waltz dancing with a shitty 1971 clockwork robot?
Yeah.
Wouldn't have worked. That's all my Frights and Delights. Sorry, I haven't got much for this one.
I'm just going to chuck... I've not got these written down, but I'm just going to chuck a few observations in. You just mentioned that one. Volnavia doesn't seem to have... She's just random.
Yeah.
Innit?
Just a woman who's there.
Just a woman who's there. The other thing... Why has he got a clockwork band? Mental. I know he's an organist.
We probably wants to play with a band, but doesn't want people around.
Okay, right, that's crackers.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of time on his hands, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
To invent all these wacky death killing machines.
Yep. Well put.
Yeah, but still, I still like the film. I still think it's good.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Does make sense,
In
but
any way.
why should it?
No.
Right.
I thought it was quite funny when Price was moving to the voice, but not actually moving his face. That looked
Yeah, that was good.
awkward.
There's a bit that he eats as well.
Is it?
Puts it into his throat.
Yeah. Weird.
He's not chewing that.
Right, what have you got?
Fucking hell. Anyway. Right, I'm just going to run down you the 10 plagues of Egypt and
Okay.
why they were bullshit.
Okay. Oh.
So, first one, blood. So, all the water in Egypt was turned to blood, which killed the fish. So, the actual natural explanation for this is that the Ethiopian highlands are made up of red clay, so it's possible that torrential rains could have started a mud-red flood that turned the Nile red and choked out the fish which got infected with anthrax.
Okay.
Second plague was frogs. Millions of frogs invaded villages and homes and then died en masse. Natural explanation, the frogs were trying to escape the muddy waterways. They all died because they were also infected with the same anthrax. Third, lice, gnats and fleas. Lice infected the Egyptian people's heads and swarms of gnats and fleas darkened the skies. Natural explanation, the lice, gnats and flies were feasting on the dead frogs.
Yeah, okay.
4. Pestilence that killed cattle by the thousands. The fields from which the cattle fed were turned toxic by the previous 2 plagues.
Yeah,
Following?
I can see that. Plus, the Nile water is what they use
Yeah,
for all the land, isn't it? to
Exactly.
grow? Yeah.
so 5th one, festering boils on people's skin. The boils were symptoms of the same disease that caused the pestilence in the animals. These people
Sorted this
People
out.
who believe this, they must be in denial.
Oh, shit.
Fucking hell.
If you think about it, though, it's fair enough.
Hail. Fucking, that was good. That went by me as well. That was good. A destructive Now, this one's a bit of a grasp. A destructive hailstorm laid waste to crops and killed thousands of animals and people. Alright. Natural explanation. Destructive hailstorms are uncommon in North Africa, but have been known to occur. So that one's a little bit sketchy.
Okay.
Locusts. Millions of locusts covered the landscape. Natural explanation. Locust swarms are a common occurrence in the region, especially after heavy rain.
Yeah.
Hail. Dust storms that block the sun. Obviously, easterly winds blew dust from neighbouring Libya over Egypt. The storm was made worse by the recent loss of crops, not unlike America's Dust Bowl during the Great Depression.
Alright.
Deaths of all the firstborn. Possibly could be a stretch here, I don't know. Natural explanation. The other 9 plagues made conditions so harsh that the infant mortality rate skyrocketed. It doesn't explain how older firstborns were killed, but with all the death and destruction plaguing the region, it sure would have seemed to the Egyptians that someone up there was angry at them.
Certainly a bit pissed off. One
Yeah.
of them.
There you go. I don't have the darkness one, but there you go. That's what I'm saying.
2 were changed, weren't they? The gnats and the flies were turned to rats and bats.
Yes,
With
gnats
this
and
film.
flies return to rats and bats
'Cause,
for making
that'd be
filming easier.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Right, boom. Should we move on?
Yeah, what's next? Master of the Macabre, I believe.
Yeah.
Let's mosey on over.
Master of the Macabre.
Welcome to the Master of the Macabre. We're about to discuss who our best performer in this film is, and probably who was a plague on the film. In fact, we don't do that. But that would have been a good intro if we did.
Lovely.
Who have you got for Master of the Macabre? We both know the answer to this because we have a rule.
Yeah, it's Vincent Price.
Vincent Price.
Vincent Price!
Nice. Right, that was Master of the Macabre.
Lovely.
Thank you for listening. Vincent Price wins every time we do a Vincent Price film. That is the law
Yep.
of the Madhouse. So,
If you want to start on that, come and start on it.
it was the best in this anyway. So,
And what?
yeah. Let's go do the Madhouse rating system then, shall we?
Yeah.
the Madhouse rating system.
Here we go. It's the Madhouse rating system. First up, we've got that tension and that suspense.
Well, Jimmy, it's a horror film in 1971.
Yeah.
It does a good job of chucking in the tension and splitting it with comedy.
Yes.
The score pops up a notch when a death occurs or is imminent, but I never felt tense. I was never on the edge of my seat. Probably because techniques have progressed so much in the decade since it was made that I'm used to different levels of shitting my pants.
Yes, definitely. I imagine if you were there in the movie theatre in 71 watching it, you'd be a little bit tense. Especially at the climax where the acid is dripping down.
Oh, yeah.
6 minutes. Oh, he's got to try and get that key out.
Yeah.
His son's going to end up like a bloody half-boiled, half-sucked boiled sweet.
Yes.
And then it's fucking Volnavia gets it in the end, doesn't she?
Yep.
I think that's for me, that's probably the only sort of tense part. There are more modern films nowadays that do it better.
Yeah, even at so this is a couple of years, isn't it, before Chainsaw Massacre?
Yes.
And those types of films at the time.
Oh shit, yeah, if you're talking
Did
about...
this feel a bit oldie even for then?
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Night of the Living Dead was 68, was it?
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah.
So maybe it wasn't pushing the boundaries as much as you would like, even at the time.
But, saying that, the fucking story, I think it's really good. I think it's really, what's the word?
Enjoyable.
It's enjoyable, certainly is. It's, different, I think.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
If you just lay it down, like, okay, an organist is getting revenge for the death of his wife on the 9 doctors that couldn't save her life, and he's apparently dead, and he's all disfigured, and he likes to play the organ, and then he makes up all these crazy ways of trying to kill all these doctors, and then lays to rest with his wife at the end. We don't know whether he's dead or alive. We know he's not because there's a second one.
So the basis for the story is alright, but
Yeah.
does the execution give you the tension and suspense you want?
No.
Okay.
So that's the thing about the films from this sort of era, the 60s and 70s. Fucking great storylines, but just not executed like it's 2020.
Yeah, I thought Night of the Living Dead did really well for the time. In tension.
Yeah.
Racking up the stakes as it goes along. This film is kind of like, the story's good, the gore's fine for the time period, but it takes it too much of, we do this, then we do this, then we do this, when we do this.
Yeah.
Step by step going through the scenes.
Yeah.
Rather than thinking, how do we, give it like this curve of tension up and down and build it up to a crescendo of doom.
Yeah. I like that. You were doing it like a breast.
What, my hand movement?
Yes.
It wasn't
Viewers
meaning.
couldn't see that, or the listeners couldn't see that, but it was like he was rubbing a supple breast.
Well, so no star for tension
No
and suspense.
star for tension and suspense.
What's next?
Next, I believe it is line gore and visual effects.
The effects in this film are pretty good. Even saying they were... Is it 51 years? 70...
50 years.
50 years.
What are you saying?
49 years. 49 years ago.
14. This is 49 years ago.
This film came out
Yes,
49 years ago.
Four-
Right. It was
No,
like 71.
50, 59, 49. Fucking hell, maths.
Quite a few decades ago. I think it's 49 years. It had some good effects, even to say it was that many decades ago. From the green glow on the face to the comical impaling of the unicorn horn through the chest.
And the fact that, and then that you could see when they were unscrewing him from it, and that you could just see his feet going past every little bit. That was funny.
Yeah, that was a good visual. And did you notice they went, I think it's the left thread, but they turned it the wrong way. And I went, yes, it is a left thread. So they just got that. They got the thread wrong. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But a few bits look less convincing these days, such as the man drained blood. It just looks like he's got too much white foundation on.
Well, yeah, even Phibes is supposed to be wearing, his whole face is supposed to be prosthetic.
Yeah.
And he just looks like he's just got too much white.
Yeah, he looks sickly as well.
Yeah.
Price doesn't look good in this film. He can look suave.
Yeah, he doesn't look good.
Doesn't look good in this film.
He doesn't look good in this film. It looks like he's been on a bender for 4 or 5 days.
Yes.
Too much scotch.
Yeah.
Thanks.
The Clockwork Band is well done. I know you weren't a fan, but they look creepy as hell to me.
They do look creepy as hell, but you know it's just people wearing.
Oh yeah, but you
wearing
got to
Clockwork Orange.
yeah,
Clockwork Orange.
but like
Clockwork Mask.
lots of these things these days, you know it's CGI. You just gotta deal with it. You know, it's not really. There's not really. Was it 12 balloons? Well, like 6 real ones, and was it it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's always something creepy about doll, anyway, or clockwork beings, and this is a whole band of them. So
Yeah.
that's creepy.
But they do come into a little bit more effect in the second one.
Okay.
They're in the he takes his clockwork band on the road.
Oh, do they do
At the
gigs?
start of the first one, they don't. Yeah, they do gigs. Yeah,
Have to
and
replace a couple of the guys because they get too into drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't get paid. Said, "What's this? Some sort of wind up?" The sets are awesome. He has that room with his organ in it, and the curtains that come down as a ballroom backdrop. I quite liked that whole set of his room.
Yeah, I like it. It's all Art Deco, isn't it?
Yeah, and
1920.
it fitted the film pretty well. It gave it this creepy scene set to have rather than just the boring 70s type offices.
I think that's the dream, innit? If you're a musician, you wanna be levitated up onto a stage whilst playing your instrument, don't you?
Yes. That'd be good, yeah.
That'd be great.
So it's set in 1925, this film. So all the sets had to have like a 20s vibe to them, but some of them felt very 70s to me.
Oh yeah, it's definitely got a whiff of the 70s all
Yeah.
over it.
Even the suits, it's obviously set in England.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like the Roaring Twenties then, but everything was well made. The sets were at Elstree Studios in London. Dr. Phibes' mansion was Caldercote Towers on Elstree Road, and the cemetery was Highgate Cemetery in London. So filmed
Okay,
on
didn't know that.
location in London, basically.
London.
Yeah, you do a Michael Caine impression again?
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. She was only 16 years old.
I don't know that second. What was that second one from?
A
film?
Oh, Harry something.
Is it a recent one? Like last 10,
he's old.
15
He's
years.
old. He's old in it. It's
Does he
Harry
take revenge on
something.
some chavvy guys?
Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
remember.
and his mate gets killed, and he goes after them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's only
it's good.
Master Wayne.
That's Batman.
Batman.
So the original plagues had flies and gnats. In this film, they used rats and bats purely for the visual effects.
Are you rhyming on purpose?
No,
You're doing very good.
this was a
Very
good call because
Flow
gnats
in.
and flies would be hard to make scary in a film. I imagine in real life a plague of gnats and flies would shit you up. But for good cinema, it made sense to do the switch.
Yeah, I think it's all about cost as well, isn't it? They probably ain't got the technology to do like a shitload of gnats.
Well, yeah, if you're paying all the animals individually by the hour, you can have less bats
That's true.
and spend less than if you had thousands of flies. So, yeah, probably financial, I think. Price's face was covered in something called collodion,
Okay.
which effectively made it impossible for him to move his face much at all because it dries stiff. So that's helped him, apparently, because he kept almost saying the words.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
So for gore and visual effects, I am tempted to give it a star.
I'd give it a star because I like all the sort of crazy ways that he went about killing people, and I think they did it quite well.
Yeah. Weird thing, the drop down paper picture of a woman that he laid on the floor
Yeah.
to drill a hole through.
Yeah.
How was that in any way necessary?
Absolutely not.
You'd have to know exactly where she was laid to lay it on top,
Yeah.
which means there's literally no point in laying it on top anyway because you'd know exactly where she's laid.
Yeah. Mental.
Bullshit.
And he didn't even get her in the face the first time. He drilled through the eyes of the fucking paper thing, and he got it on the lamp. He missed.
Yeah, he did,
He
yeah.
was miles off, so it was pointless. You're absolutely correct. It was absolutely pointless and not necessary.
Yeah.
So that is basically this film. Absolutely pointless and
not
unnecessary.
necessary. Kind of shoddy made in some bits and weird, but enjoyable.
Fucking great watch. Yeah. Right, next up we have the performance.
The performance of Joseph Cotton here.
Yes.
He complained that he had to remember so many lines while prices were all pre-recorded. I think this may have been in jest, but when you read it written down, it sounds like he's being a dick. I think it might have been like, oh,
What,
yours
Cotton?
are all pre-recorded, mate. I gotta remember mine.
No, I think Cotton's being a dick.
Oh, okay.
But the thing about Vincent Price is that he could not only memorize his lines for the film, he could memorize everybody else's lines for the film.
Yep.
He's
Nice.
done it on... He did it on loads of stuff. There was some very early films that he did with some famous actors who were alcoholic. And I can't remember his name. It was some sort of pirate film. But Price just learnt all the lines for it. Anyway, he was good at it.
Yeah. He said something, didn't he? Yes, but I still know all of them, even in response to that all being pre-recorded.
Yeah. Yes, but I still I know all mine and I know all yours.
Yeah.
Talents, you see, that's why he's the ledge.
Joanna Lumley was in the unedited original cut,
Yes.
but she was cut from the final product. I couldn't see that footage anywhere, so I presume that's lost forever.
Because she was in the Avengers, wasn't she?
Yeah.
So I think
And
that's
one of the
probably why
writers
she
from the
got in it.
Avengers worked on some bits of this film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vesalius' son's voice is dubbed.
Is it?
Yep. Which
I
is
knew
bad
there was
because that
something
was
annoying.
what they had was bad. So how bad was it before?
Yeah. I just wanted to twat him in the face.
I went to the organ shop, Papa. He doesn't say that, but do you know what I mean? He's got that kind.
Yeah.
That you got the vibe of him right there.
I hated him. I wanted to see his face melt.
Who are you going to play him a wicked solo?
No, you've heard me playing guitar. I'd have to overdub the guitar.
With me.
You.
So I should have let you say that then. I came off well cocky. We'll get Andy to do it.
Yeah.
Overdub both of us.
Yeah.
So Vincent Price, basically, the outstanding actor in this film. The cops were good.
Yeah, they're funny, aren't they? They
Yeah.
bring the comic relief. Trout
Yeah.
brings the comic relief, and also Trout's boss, who keeps calling him Pike. I thought that was quite funny because
Yeah.
it's another fish, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think Trout looked like the cop from Only Fools and Horses. Do you remember their old friend?
Yes,
But I don't think it's the same guy.
definitely not the same guy.
It's
'cause
not.
That guy's a famous actor.
They had similar voices and similar looks,
Yeah,
and they both played cops.
yeah.
I think it must be the same person. You don't have three coincidences like that without it being fact. What are you giving it for performance, Jimmy?
Oh, it's I don't know. Because it's Vincent, I want to give it a star. But what are you saying?
The only bad acting was probably Vesalius' son.
Okay, yeah, we can't hold it down for that.
No, everyone else was good. I think they did what they were meant to do. I think our beef with this film is the concept and execution, probably from directing and cinematography, not the acting.
I've not got a beef with the concept. I think the concept's great. I think it's...
Yeah, I don't mean the concept, I mean the execution.
Execution of the concept.
Holding up that thing of a woman when he really didn't need it to find where she was laying, and
Yeah.
just other bits that were just...
Why Brussels sprouts as well?
Yeah.
Why Brussels sprout
yeah.
cheese?
So,
Well, I suppose it's got to be something, isn't it?
locusts eat crops. So, sprouts are a crop, why not?
Yeah, would they... Well, I don't know. Brussels sprout farmers plagued by locusts? Any Brussels sprout farmers out there, just pop us a message, see if you have problems with locusts.
Yep. Okay.
That's a new low.
Personally, I would give this a 1 for...
Give it 1.
Would I, though? Yeah, let's give it 1.
Give it 1 for performance, because
Right.
it's the great Vincent Price.
Okay.
So...
It's not his best film either, though.
Definitely not his best film. No.
Miles away.
No. Good, though. Next is the musical score and sound effects.
The organ music that the film opens with is War March of the Priests by Felix Mendelssohn Bartholdy, which is a famous song.
Yes.
The song Dark Town Strutter's Ball was written by Shelton Brooks, which is contemporary to the 20s, who was from Ontario, Canada.
Yeah.
Is that your good Canada or bad Canada?
That's good, Ontario.
Yeah, good Canada, right.
Respect, Ontario.
Apparently Price would spend a lot of summers in Ontario.
Yep, fair play.
But the rest of the score was composed by Basil Kirchin and includes the 1920s era sourced music as influence, including that Darktown Strutter's Ball and Charmaine. A couple of famous songs there. The score's pretty good. Nothing hugely influential to me. Again, even for the time, there's better scores out there. There's stuff that push boundaries more. It did feel like the soundtrack equivalent of like a paint by numbers.
Yeah.
You know what your job is.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
The songs are good. The organ music obviously adds a tone and a feel to where you are with Price's character.
Well, I thought they could have done it darker.
Yeah.
I thought they could have played a lot darker organ music because it seemed a bit happy. But you know what I mean? More darker.
Yeah.
It was more Benny Hill than in Exorcist.
Yes.
But I think his stuff, but it was very clever how the songs linked with the deaths of the doctors, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
So you had like
Oh,
Dark
yeah.
Strutter's Ball and the guy got his head crushed.
Yep.
He was at the ball. And the Close Your Eyes when Terry Thomas was getting his blood drained.
Yep. She weirdly just whacked a violin out and played it there for him, didn't she?
Yeah, of course. You've always got to carry your violin with you.
Yeah.
So I thought in that way that was clever how the songs sort of linked with the deaths.
Yeah.
But Price could have been playing more of a darker riff.
Yes, and those songs weren't originals; they're song choices.
Yeah.
So they've chosen the songs to do rather than writing them. They have written score for this film, obviously, as well. I don't know what score we're on at the moment.
2.
I'd probably give it half.
Let's give it half.
So on 2.5 out of 5, and we're moving on.
Moving on to overall experience.
I'm gonna leave it as it is.
2.5. Okay.
Yeah, but assuming that you're probably gonna give it 1, or you're gonna give it half.
No, keep it at 2.5, but I urge anyone who hasn't seen it to watch it because it is good.
It's enjoyable. It's not gonna be on my rewatch list anytime soon.
What? I've seen it about 5 times.
All right, good for you.
That wasn't a boast. I was just saying.
I've seen it once. I've got it on DVD. I'll
It's a good
watch
watch.
it again in the future when the mood comes over me, but I don't think that will be within the next couple of years. Let's put it that way.
All right. Yeah. Fair enough.
All right, so 2.5 out of 5
2.5 out of
for
5.
the Abominable Dr Phibes.
It's good to have in your back pocket. That one. It's a good Vincent Price flick.
Put it next to your violin,
Yeah.
so that when you kill someone next time, you can get your violin out.
Or whatever instrument you want to play. Doesn't have to be a violin. Could be a cello.
I'm not putting that in your back pocket though, or a violin actually. Harmonica. There you go.
Yeah, harmonica or
Learn, close your eyes on harmonica, and you'll be set for any blood draining.
kazoo.
It's my choice of film today, Jimmy. Are you ready to have a pop and have a guess?
Yeah, I'll have a little go. All right, I'm excited about this because I'm excited.
Okay.
Shit, are we? Yeah, okay, yeah.
What?
Well, we need to announce the winner of the contest as well.
Oh yeah, let's do that first.
All right, we'll do that first.
You do that. I'll do the film choice in a second.
Okay, so the question was, what is the tagline from the film Dawn of the Dead?
Love means you never have to say your
Nope, that wasn't it.
when there's no more room in Tesco.
Nope, that's not it either.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead shall walk the earth.
That's the correct answer. Right, we've put some names in a hat, and this time we are going for the... No, we're going for a shoe. It's a shoe. We've put names in a shoe.
Yeah, well, your hat was in the other room. Last minute. Are you ready? I'll rustle, you pick.
Yeah. Okay, right, here we go. It's Stephen Lindsay from Bristol. Come on down. Collect your lovely framed Dawn of the Dead poster. Actually, you don't have to come and collect it. We'll ship it to you.
Yes.
Pop us your address.
I'll give you an email back
in the email.
telling you you've won. What's his name? Did you say Stephen Lindsay?
Stephen Lindsay.
I like Bristol. We've got family in Bristol.
We're f***ing Bristol, eh? We're f***ing cider.
Okay.
Bristol accent, isn't
That
it?
was vaguely
Hey,
West Country-ish.
I couldn't know you. Bristol. Why? F***ing Bristol. No, sorry.
Sorry, Stephen.
Sorry.
You don't want it anymore, do you? Right.
Tough.
Film choice. Well done, Stephen Lindsay. You win a poster
Kisses.
of Dawn of the Dead. You win a Headstone Horrors album.
Oh, exciting.
Some cards, stickers,
Stickers, chuck a
patches.
bootlegger in there as well.
Yeah, we'll chuck some plectrums in. And I think that's about it. Was that what we said? If we
Yes.
said anything else, we'll send that to you as well.
Lovely.
My film choice, you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. A team of Vatican investigators descends upon a church in a remote area to demystify the unusual happenings, but what they discover is more disturbing than they had first imagined.
Oh.
This was recommended to me yesterday afternoon. I bumped into someone I knew on the street, and he asked me about the podcast. He listens every so often, and he asked me if I'd seen this, and I said no. I will tell you now, it seems to have two names.
Oh, okay.
I've watched it, and I liked it, and it has a certain name on Prime. When I gave it a Google to get this IMDb description, it's come up with a different name, but it's the same film, and it's definitely what I Googled, and it's the same characters, so it seems to have two names. So you've got two choices, I guess.
I don't know. I'm just going to have a punt and say The Possession.
No. On Prime, it's called The Borderlands,
Okay.
and on IMDb, it seems to be called Final Prayer. I'm guessing we'll find out in our research between now and the next episode why that is,
Oh, okay.
why there's two names.
They have two names. Like in different countries, they get named different things. So in
Yeah.
America, something would be
Probably
called
called
different.
Final Prayer in the US.
Yeah.
It is an English film as well.
Yeah, it's probably called. Yeah, it's probably called something else in America.
Good film. I liked it.
Okay, who's in it? Any big names?
You have in this film. No one that I recognise, by the way.
It's not Thora Birch, is it?
No.
Ah, it's a shame.
Did you want another Thor Birch film coming up?
Well, it's been a couple. It's been a few weeks now, isn't it?
Robin Hill is in this.
No,
Gordon Kennedy.
no.
No, I don't know any of them, to be honest. But it was a good film.
Okay.
Nice. Peter Charlton, I recognise him. Don't know what from. Anyway, go watch that on Prime. It is included in Prime if you have it. I don't think it's on Netflix.
What's it called again?
The Borderlands.
The
on
Borderlands.
UK Prime. If you're in the US, you may want to look for Final Prayer. It's a 2013 film, by the way, so more modern than some we've done recently.
Still 7 years ago, though.
Ah, no, it makes you feel old, doesn't it? 2013, yeah, what's that? Couple of years old? No.
No.
Go and check out Final Prayer. I had some plugs, but we don't have time. I'll do them next week for a couple of people. And I guess we call them time and death on this episode, are we, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Well, we will see you next time on the Madhouse Podcast. We'll be looking at Borderlands / Final Prayer. And we're done. Have a good time. See you in 2 weeks. Yay!
We're f***ing Bristol, eh? We're f***ing cider.